Good afternoon and welcome to the channel. Today is gorgeous. There must be something wrong, but the stars are aligned. It's like 65 degrees and it's the middle of February. Today I'm taking the Integra Type R to see Jody at Freehold Tire Pro. Is going to put the brake pads, the rotors, finish up with the ball joints, readjust the alignment, get everything picture perfect, get the hub-centric rings installed. I've got some more goodies coming for the Integra Type R in the coming weeks as well. I got a lot of content coming on the Hellcat, so stay tuned, guys. I got some big announcements coming in the next week, some good, some bad. I also have a major announcement on April 1st. I'm going to be at the New York Auto Show. I want to let you guys know what's in store for Driveway Demons. So as of right now, it's the Hellcat and the Integra Type R, but something really big is coming to the channel in the next couple of months. We're headed to Freehold Tire Pros to get the mods done on the car. This is going to be awesome. Here at Freehold Tire Pros, getting ready to put everything on the car. Here's what's going on. I got the ball joints right over here, the rotors for the front, as well as the pads and the hub-centric rings, which we did not put on last time. These are definitely better than the factory, there's no doubt about it, but they are $500 for two rotors. So I'm gonna pull the plastic off and show you guys the heat indicator. So there's a paper right here for the indicators, and it tells you that when the red turns white, it means they've went over 610 degrees. When the orange turns yellow, if you went over 560, or green turns white, you went over 430. So I'd imagine when your red turns white, your rotors are pretty much at the brink. We definitely don't want to have the red line turning white, that's for sure. But those are the rotors, we're putting those on and pads, but first they're gonna do the ball joints. So these ball joints are for the Integra Type R. So if you guys have Type R front suspension, these are the ones you're gonna need, the Hard Race 6807. So you can get these from kseriesparts.com. These are the Honda Civic DC5 Type R Hard Race roll center adjusting ball joints. You can see it's 6807 is the part number. Those are the ones you're going to need. It also comes with the add-on rings and also with the retainer clips if you're going to be using it with an RSX. So that comes with everything you guys need. I also have replacement Hawk front performance pads to go with the rotors. These will fit the Integra Type R as well. So if you have a Type R or a front knuckle on your RSX that's from a Type R, these are the pads you're gonna need. These are the Hawk HPS ferrocarbon disc brake pads, and the part number on these is right here if you guys wanna get it. I'm gonna put a link in the information box below for the pads and rotors, as well as the hub-centric rings and the other things I'm putting on the car. So the ball joint is pressed in on the JDM passenger side. The new rotor is on, calipers going on with the new brake pads, and these rotors look awesome. Take a look. So much better than the factory rotor, which I'll show you right here. So you can see here's the factory rotor. Look how wore out it is. Look at this ridge right here. The rotors are wearing down terribly. So these are definitely better than what was on the car, and you guys can see it looks fantastic. New ball joint is installed. I'm going to show you guys. There is the brand new ball joint, which is going to tighten everything up under the bottom end here. So everything should be nice and tight compared to the way it was. No knocking, no noise. And then since we're under here, we went ahead and did. And since we're already in there, we might as well do the pads and the rotors, which we did. So I cannot wait to drive it. Mike is awesome. He's over here putting things together to get the ball joints pressed out. He's using these rings that came with the ball joints to help get them in and out. Little tricks that he uses, which to me are fantastic. And that's why we're getting the job done. So it looks great. You can see this is the factory side right here, old pads and rotor, and you can see the difference in how much better the DBA rotors look like with the new pads. It's a lot better. Much improved, right guys? I would say so. These rotors have definitely seen a lot of track days with the surface marks and the way everything looks over here. Someone was definitely beating the crap out of it. But once we're finished with both sides, we're gonna take it on the alignment rack and tweak the alignment again to make sure everything's straight. And then it's time to see how it drives and see how good the brakes are. And finally, after all this, the ball joints will be done, and now all the suspension is completely brand new. So we've pressed in the new ball joint, no issues whatsoever. Hard Race 6807 are the ball joints for Type R knuckles, whether you have a Type S or a Type R. Doesn't matter if you have Type R knuckles, those are the ball joints you need. And you can see John's finishing up, putting the axle back in. The whole knuckle assembly has been removed and reinstalled, and there is the ball joint right there. Everything's good to go. All we're gonna have to do is just finish up with this, and then I did order some synchro mesh, Pennzoil synchro mesh for the manual transmission. I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out. I can't wait to finish up all the mods I have planned for this car. It is gonna be so much fun. There's a lot of stuff coming for the Integra Type R. I do have credential passes to the New York Auto Show, so I'm gonna bring you guys a lot of good content there on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Got our Cars and Coffee here at Free Old Tire Pros in the middle of April, somewhere around the 14th or the 20th, so stay tuned for that. I'll have more info on that as well. So John is just finishing up with the caliper and brake pads. Ball joints are installed. Now I'm putting synchro mesh in the transmission. Now on all K-Series transmissions, you put a 3/8 ratchet right here and remove the drain bolt right on the bottom of the transmission, directly below the axle. Over here to the right of the axle, you can see that is the bolt where you're gonna fill the fluid. Remove that first, then the drain plug, drain all the fluid out, put the drain plug back in, and then start filling the fluid into this location until it overflows. Plug it back up, tighten the bolt. Very easy, but that is the fill bolt, and then the drain bolt is right down here. A lot of RSX and Integra Type R owners who have K1, K-tuned coilovers on their car complain about a little bit of clunking sound on the suspension at low speeds. I'm gonna show you why that's happening. We just figured this out right now. So the problem is right here. This spanner locking nut on the bottom of the coilover is what's causing the clunk. These need to be retightened, and I mean really tight. So all three have to be tightened. These two, and then the one I just showed you. What it really comes down to is all three spanner locking nuts gotta be tightened, like, I mean a lot, because that's the reason why they're clunking and they get worse over time. So if you guys are wondering how tight you have to go with these spanner locking nuts on the K1 coilovers by K-Tune, 2 guys with an extension bar on the spanner wrench, as tight as you possibly can get it. You can see it's gonna take 2 people to do this. They gotta be really tight because they're coming off rather easily after driving a couple of miles. Once we're done, we'll make sure everything's tight and hopefully it won't happen again. So we just finished tightening all the spanner locking nuts on the suspension. Now we're draining the old transmission fluid and then putting Pennzoil synchro mesh in. So the transmission fluid's gonna get changed right now, which I really wanted to do for a while because I don't know when the last time it was ever changed. So it's definitely a good time to do that. So the transmission fluid we got out of the Integra was clear and overfilled like crazy. There had to have been a quarter to maybe even a third of a quart overfill on the transmission fluid. I have no idea what they were doing in Japan, but it was definitely at least a third of a quart overfilled. And you can see here comes the fluid right now. It's clear and there's no way to tell what brand of fluid that is or if it's any good. It was shifting okay, I just didn't want to keep driving and racking the mileage up with improper fluid or not having the fluid changed. So now we've got the fluid being changed so we can be sure that there's not old fluid in there. So with the new Hawk pads, if you guys have ordered any of those for yourself, or pretty much almost every brake pads, but specifically the Hawk brake pads, to break them in properly, you want to do at least 6 stops from 30 to 35 miles an hour at moderate pressure. Now you could do 8, 9, 10, doesn't matter. Between 6 and 10 stops from 30 miles an hour with moderate brake pressure. Now, you want to do another 2 to 3 hard stops from 40 to 45 miles an hour and then let them cool down for 15 minutes. It's a pretty easy break-in procedure, but I recommend at least 6 times stopping from 35 miles an hour moderately. Don't drag them at all, just stop, you know, completely with moderate pressure. And then you're going to want to go ahead and do 2 to 3 hard stops after that from 40 to 45 miles per hour. Once again, not dragging the brakes, let them cool down for 10 to 15 minutes and then you'll be good to go. Brake pads are broken in. That's the textbook way to break in your brake pads. A lot of people don't do that, but I think it's a good idea with a setup like this that's brand new to get it broken in properly. The transmission fluid has been filled. We're torquing the bolts, putting the wheels. The transmission fluid's been filled and done, topped off. Everything's locked down tight. And we're putting the wheels back on. Now it's time for the alignment rack, and then we're all done for today. Thanks again, John, for being awesome like you are. The Integra Type R is getting so much love over the last couple of weeks. It's fantastic. So we're gonna get it all tweaked on the alignment rack. Once I do that, then I'll be able to take it for a drive, break in these pads and see how much better the brakes are and make sure the suspension's not clunking since we tightened everything down. And of course, it should be much better overall with the ball joints, considering they're roll center adjusting ball joints for lowered vehicles. So that's pretty damn awesome if you ask me. It definitely looks really clean from back here. Such a beautiful color white, don't you guys agree? Like, look at that. Look how nice that looks. Fantastic color. A lot of stuff coming for the Integra Type R though, for sure. John is doing a great job as always. perfect alignment. You can see how he takes care of the wheels right there. The tape protects the wheels from getting any sort of scratches, and you can see he always takes care of the wheels in the car while he's doing an alignment. I can't wait to see what the final specs are, but definitely feels better in steering response with the ball joints and everything on the car, as well as the brakes. Definitely feeling better. Even though I only moved it a few feet, I can definitely tell the brakes are better because the pedal travel was a lot less with the new rotors and pads. I can't wait to drive it and see how much better it is. The Integra definitely got some serious love today, and the transmission is going to be shifting better now that it's got new fluid in there. Although it was shifting good to begin with, but I got a lot of things planned for the Integra. I got to get the molding done on the side. I got all the extra molding at the house. I have to get the front and back bumpers painted, all the molding done, all the badges. A lot of cool things I got coming on the Integra, but I do have big news that I told Jody about, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So finally finished with the Integra Type R, alignment, new brakes, pads, the rotors, everything's done up here, you can see. Looks fantastic. And we only have a few guys to thank here at Free Old Tire Pros. First is my buddy Jody, right here.
Corey.
Like family.
Hello, YouTube. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Jody is the man. Check him out. Free Old Tire Pros right here in Freehold, New Jersey. 10 Center Street is the address. And JustRivals.com, right, Jody?
JustRivals.com.
JustRivals.com. Check it out. Another one of our sponsors. Another shout out to Falcon Tires. They're another sponsor of ours. Yep. So Jody always gets me in. Pretty soon we're going to be doing a clutch and flywheel, all kinds of goodies.
We're going to have fun this year, Corey.
Cars and coffee shows. Oh, yeah. And thanks again to John, the best alignment tech ever. I'm going to go for a drive, and I'll tell you guys how everything works, but thanks again to Free Old Tire Pros. We'll be back for the next video here soon. Corey. You're very welcome, Jody, and time to go for a drive and see how much better it is with the new brakes and the ball joints and the alignment tweaked again. So right now it's a couple of days after being at Free Old Tire Pros and putting on the ball joints as well as the new brakes. I haven't had a chance to finish this video, so I'm doing it right now, and I can tell you the steering is much better with the new ball joints. They are fantastic. Hard Race makes some fantastic suspension components. I tell you guys, the steering is so much better. The car drives way better than it did when I bought it. New ball joints, new tie rods, brand new coilovers. The whole suspension's pretty much been done. And these K1 coilovers are riding so much better. No clunks at low speed, over bumps, like a lot of people, including myself, are complaining about, because Mike and John tightened the spanner locking nuts with a breaker bar as tight as they possibly could, and that took away all the clunking sounds. With the brand new tires and wheels and ball joints and all new suspension and everything I've done to the car, it rides so much better. It's very smooth going down the highway. It wasn't a daily driver in my opinion before, because the tires were bald, the brakes were squealing, and the pads and rotors were wore out. Tie rods and ball joints were wore out as well. The steering was kind of loose, but now everything's aligned, tightened up, everything's brand new, and it is definitely a lot more fun to drive. I love this. I love it. It is so good. I love the feeling how this car gets up right around 5,000 before VTEC comes in. You can feel the torque. But, yeah, that shit nice, yo. Thanks. This is straight from Japan, man. Yeah. See ya. That's what the Type R has always been. So what's wrong with saying epic? I mean, I just love driving this. I got to review this car. I'm gonna do a full review on it. I mean, I drive it all the time. It's pretty much my daily now. I drive it more than the Hellcat, believe it or not. It's a lot of fun driving an Integra Type R. And when I'm cruising, the HKS is really not that loud. To be honest, I've thought about taking it to an exhaust shop and getting them to match up the resonator with a straight pipe with with some flanges so I can just swap it in and out when I want to make the exhaust louder. I've had that done on one of my other RSXs in the past, and it's loud. As soon as you take the resonator out of an HKS exhaust, it becomes absurd. I've had many Hondas in the past, a ton of them, and almost all of them have had HKS. A lot of people have asked me how awesome or difficult it is to drive right-hand drive. To be honest, the hardest part is shifting with your left hand, but I'm kind of ambidextrous, or partially, so it's not a big deal for me to shift with my left hand. The hardest part is driving and not hitting the guardrail, because on the left side of the car, you know where you are in parallel to the guardrail, so you're not going to hit it, to stay away from the cars that are passing you on the right-hand side. Being on the right side while driving means I can't see the guardrail on this side or whatever's on the left side of the car, so I tend to kind of smudge into things. My mirror's already hit a couple of different objects, so it's not fun, but that's the hardest part, is, you know, not clipping the guardrail or hitting those markers in the center lane when you're going through the easy pass tolls or whatnot. It can be a little difficult. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun going down to Free Old Tire Pros, getting the DVA rotors, Hawk HPS pads, as well as the alignment tweaked, the hard race ball joints installed, and then going for a drive. It brakes very good now, so much better than it did before. The handling's better, the steering response, and the suspension is so much better since Mike and John tightened the spanner locking nuts with a breaker bar as tight as they could get it. Everything is perfect now so far. I'm very excited about that. Lots of stuff coming for the Integra Type R, and I got some big news in the next couple of days, some very positive and exciting news about the channel and some things I'm going to be doing in April and later on in the year, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to check out the Driveway Demons store at drivewaydemons.com. Support the channel there, get your hoodies there. I got a lot more merch coming to the store in the near future. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comment below. Thanks once again to all the guys down at Free Old Tire Pros, especially Jody. You're like family, brother. Love ya. Can't wait to come back down there and do another video with you guys. We're gonna have so much fun. Got our Cars and Coffee kicking it off in mid-April. Stay tuned for that date. And thank you so much for all my returning subscribers watching all my videos and supporting the channel and sharing it with everyone. I am about to break 10,000 subscribers. I went from 0 to 10,000 from August until now, so that right there is pretty awesome. Just under 6 months, 10K. That is fabulous. Thank you so much, guys. I'm Corey with Driveway Demons. Until the next video, remember, have fun and be safe.